Alright, here's a match I just recently did. I played as Russia, and my opponent played as Austria. So I brought 3 lifeguard foot, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 musketeers, 3 Jaegers, one of which being the 17th Jaeger Regiment, and 5 gun cav, 3 Cossack cavalry, which are basically like militia cavalry, and my general. My opponent, he had a little bit to complain about this at first. Didn't like that I brought so many cav, but I think that's fine. I mean, first of all, it was the agreed upon rules were max 5 light and no artillery. Let's see, he's brought all these chevaux légers as his cav corps and the special general. I think he's got some rifles hidden in there somewhere, if I remember right. And then he's got one, you know, a bigger infantry line than I do, and that's the trade-off. He's got, you know, like 10 foot type units. So anyway, he complained about that a bit, but I was like, you know what, it's fine. Like, what are you talking about? Just you know, he just played the game. He ended up just playing the game. He didn't quit like he was threatening to. But so here's, I kind of wanted to mention all this because I think this player ends up being a little bit indicative of some trends in any online gaming community, really, and a big part of it is, like, the cannot blame himself for losing a match. So I'm kind of using this to point out, like, there's plenty of things he did wrong here. First of all, like, so he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9... I'm pretty sure, I don't think he has a full 20 units. He's like 5 over here, makes 8 with the lights, and then 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 units. That doesn't necessarily mean you're going to lose, but it's not necessarily, like, it's a strategy I usually would not recommend. Let's just say that. So here I kind of reconfigured my lights a bit, and in fact that's why I had them in line formation at first, so I could run them a little bit more without tiring them out. So my plan here is like, okay, he's got like his, you know, special infantry over there, a bunch of regular ones over here. I'm gonna kind of, you know, fix his lights into place with my lights, have my fancy lights attack along with my lifeguard to foot on his line. Doesn't quite end up working out this way, and I think I can go ahead and go into regular time now. So, here I'm able to kind of get a good angle on him, because he's so focused on these guys, very tunnel vision-y. But that's not even really what my main plan was. My plan was, as you see, to attack here on the left. And you see how I'm doing that. I'm moving a bunch of units up at a time. I'm bringing in some cav. So he gets in those shots. But here, like you can see, I'm getting in a good angle on him. And because he's trying to peel to get around my flank here, whereas I'm like, okay, think like a chess match, okay? Like, there's a small engagement, and then, you know, you pile on units protecting each other or threatening each other, right? A lot of times starting with those center pawns and some of the knights, you know, yeah, anyway. So here I kind of take that approach. I have, you know, there's a small engagement, so I'm going to move my troops to support the engagement. This isn't necessarily the only approach to take. You know, sometimes it can be just as helpful to attack elsewhere, but in this case, that's what I usually like to do, and that's what I do here. But you see, what he's doing is now he just kites back, but he doesn't really have a significant skirmish advantage over me, so I'm not sure why he does this. Also, these lights should be in loose formation. Anyway, so here I'm like, okay, and I guess he does have, you know, the Windbush Jaegers, so there's that. And those are a cool unit, even if they're not worth the money that you spend on them. But here, okay, yeah, you know, I push up, get up here and start firing. Get up here and start firing. And, you know, I kind of gotta decide now exactly how I'm going to proceed. And here I'm pretty stacked up, so it's not a huge decision. Oh, I moved my general behind here to support these Russian Jaegers that are taking that Windbush Jaeger, you know, fire. Oh, and here, yeah, he tries to do an unsupported charge with his cav, so I get into square. You see here, I was trying to reform into line to back up the shots, but he backs off before they get in position. The thing is, I know I can do that because he's not really being aggressive with his infantry. And now he's pushing them up. I need to be faster with this push, but I'm microing over here. Well, here I'm like, okay, if you're going to be aggressive there, I'll pull back a little bit. You know, I can kite too. But over here, like, I think things are going okay. That being said, you know, once I've done, I kind of make my further move up here. I'm like, okay, now I'm going to push these up. I'm gonna get into a position where we have a line-on-line engagement. You know, these guys are kind of both partially a meat shield, but also just so I can get that double line of fire. And you see here, he's already formed into square, which is such... Okay, now he undoes it, but that's... I think he's trying... Maybe he's trying to do the thing where you get a little bit of extra range out of it. And here, oh yeah, he does this melee charge with his Windbush Jaegers. I assume he must have run out of ammunition, but...
Our men are running, sir.
He didn't really do it, I think. I mean, I guess it worked out. He routed the units. But here, meanwhile, I'm charging my cav, and he's not forming any squares. And now, so I'm able to completely wipe out his right flank, my left. And here I'm able to charge through. I managed to get into his lights. Here he's forming a square, but that's great. That means I just can shoot him. My supporting fire killed his Windbush. You're gonna do that like they're out of ammo melee charge. You just support something else. And that's kind of what I want to talk about here, is like in this battle and in another one I'll probably show you, this guy doesn't really make use of combined arms very much. Also, right now he should be pushing in the center to try to divide the two parts of my army, but that's besides the point. Like right here is actually pretty weak. And if he moved these cav over here, he could break a hole in here, isolate these into two armies, and still, you know, maybe pull something together. So here, yeah, I'm just trying to cause some disorganization while my units keep firing and moving and all that.
Our men are running, sir.
And here, you know, just using them as gun cav, not actually charging in. He's formed a square. And here, just reorganizing so that if he does try to push, I have a good line. And there's not really, like... I should be more aggressive here, like... But there's not really much left to this battle, I don't think. And here, I'm able to get into these lights a bit, and route them, and then run off. But not quite far enough, I think. I think I'm still taking fire. And here, you know, I can return fire that way too, that's fine. That's the nice thing about gun cav. And now he moves them over, but at this point I've redeployed. It's a bit too late, and I'm pretty sure he click attacked my mounted rifles here. Because you can see him running up into these waiting lifeguard afoot, which... And then he takes those shots and realizes, but it's too late to save one of his cav. And now he's, you know, just pushing back here, trying to form a, like, can't outflank me L shape. And yeah, so like, but he kept, you know, his top. Look at this. Okay, this is the thing I kind of want to show you here. He kept these 3 elite infantry units. They're all at 120. They haven't fired a bullet yet. You know, so and I was able to, because I was just able to defeat his army in detail. Because he does. Oh, here's like this cav charge. Great example. These guys aren't fighting, so the cav are just going unsupported and getting killed. And here goes another, like, he's just bringing a single cav around. So what am I to do but just be like, okay, like I'll come up here and shoot you and charge you. And get my line infantry into place. Got off like 1 half volley, managed to form square. And here he just does like a big ol' melee rush. Which, you know, I can respect.
Our men are running.
He even actually manages to do okay with that. Here we go, and I charge. I get my general in a bit of trouble. Get him out though, but I charge his general.
Our men are running, sir.
Kill his general, and at that point, like, your troops can't do much when their general's dead. But if you're gonna do the big melee rush, I mean, I guess I can. He does manage to knock out a few at a time, and at one point gets me a little bit worried. Like, oh shit, is he gonna somehow pull this off? But of course, without his general, easy pickings. Still, very good game look alert. Yeah. But anyway, I kind of have an addendum to this battle, and I think I'm going to show it in the same video. So I'll be right back where he wanted a rematch, and I did give it to him. Alright, so here's a little special bonus feature within the episode. And yeah, he brought a bunch of rocket troops on a rematch. And a bunch of gun cav. And 4 line units, one of which is an old guard, plus a special general. So I saw he had picked France, and my thought was he was going to do a really gun cav-y build like I did with Russia, right? Thinking like, oh, because gun cav are so OP. And yeah, they're pretty strong. I'm not going to say they're not. But also he just thought cav in general were strong. I didn't bring, you know, I brought a few of my cav were like militia lancers. But anyway, so what I did is I just really built my army so I could spread out a lot, make it harder to outflank me. And here, I just spread them out even more and just, you know, started advancing up. You don't necessarily need to start running right away when faced with an artillery camper. Like, you do want to run earlier than you maybe otherwise would. But, like, you can see, like, yeah, they've taken some damage, but this is from 4 freaking rocket troops. And thankfully for me, he's shooting at my lights, which I kind of get. I'm going to speed up, by the way. It's a while before anything happens. Because they're Prussia's very powerful units. So if he hadn't done that, by the time they got in range, they could just kill his infantry super easily. But the problem with shooting artillery at lights is they're super spread out, so they won't take as much damage as other units. I would be targeting my lancers, possibly. Okay, so first action is, as I'm getting close to getting in range, he charges 2 cav units. So here I'm just able to stop my lights. They get their volley off, you know, completely on, you know, they haven't been distracted by shooting at elsewhere yet. Pretty sure he did a, like, attack move, like, with missile attack. Either way, he ends up charging, like, a couple of his cav. I, you know, retreat my line some, and I really just shoot up the cav. Super, just a lot. And, like, I guess he's trying to do this as a delaying action. But look, I've killed that cav pretty significantly. Killed that cav. Killed maybe others that shattered. You know, shot up these guys a little bit. And he hasn't completely killed any of my units yet. I bring my general up, and he doesn't really gen snipe to his credit. But you can see, like, kind of mostly going to go fast on this because it's a special feature anyway. Okay, he's routed one of my light units. Here comes more cav, but they charge across my line. Lose another light. So he's killed 2 of my units, but I've actually done like at least as much damage to his cav because those are, you know, maybe not quite as much, but pretty close. And now they're in range and shooting. And, you know, his infantry are going to take some overflow bullets, even though they're actually, I'm pretty sure, shooting at the cav. Or not the cav, the rockets. He tries to ride up into cav shooty range. You see here, he's so bunched up that, like, I can just easily wrap around him. Oh, yeah, and he just moved his chasseurs of cheval into being killed, like, super easily. That was a waste. The point is, like, doing shit like this isn't gonna win you a battle. Like, especially if you don't actually know how to command an army very well. Like, and I wouldn't be harping on this if he hadn't just complained about unit choice. Saying that I was cheating by using that many cav when that wasn't a rule. And then the funny thing at the beginning of this battle is I kind of sent him like a "dude, really?" message. Yeah, just get some cool shots for a second. Yeah, I sent him a like "dude, really?" message, and he's like, "What?" And he tried to argue that rocket troops don't count as artillery because they are fixed. And I said, you know, well, fixed artillery. And he's like, no, they're fixed. I gotta hand it to him. That was a little bit funny, but come on, dude, that's a bit ridiculous. Just come and fucking play a game of Napoleon. You know, don't, like, you're never gonna get any better if you just complain about perfectly normal things when then don't actually think about coordinating your units, you know. And blame any loss on the other person bringing too many cav. And that, like, if you wanted that to be a rule, man, we could have made that a rule. But anyway, you know, whatever. Good games, I suppose. Just keep in mind that, like, you gotta admit to your faults a little bit if you ever want to improve.